Port Deepwater is not having a good day. The city has come under blockade during the night, which triggered all sorts of negative reactions from the majority of the populace, most of whom depend on the sea trade to earn their livelihood. And now with evening setting on the scene of upheaval, it only gets worse. Barricades are erected, torches are lit, and under the cover of darkness, the looting begins. And as above, so below, because underneath the city, underneath the old town, in an old network of abandoned sewage tunnels, old cellars of buildings that have long fallen into neglect and have been built upon, absorbed into the foundation of this old trade city. In this netherworld of uncertainty, two knaves are faring only slightly better than the city upstairs. I say only slightly because they do have a lot of progress yet to make, but they have found something rather magical on their quest so far. However, this pair of magical gloves that manifested after uncorking its essential vessel that was long abandoned and hidden in a compartment in a storage room lost to time might turn out to be as much a curse as it is a blessing. And a curse it is now for Torga, who pocketed the gloves, because her curious companion, Arcee the Upaean, on whose quest they are here, trying to find an entrance into the underground of a merchant family's palace that houses an item that Arcee would so desperately want to get back. Well, Arcee is now rather incessantly badgering Torga to put the damn gloves on and see what they do. So let's rejoin the pair of them as they continue their underground exploration and see whether Torga eventually gives in or smacks the pigman one around the ear. Hello friends, Anderson here. Welcome back to Knave, episode 7, unless I've lost count. I am rather invested in this and recording quite a large amount in a relatively compressed time frame, because this has kind of gotten its sting in me, this campaign, and if it's gotten its hook in you as well, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, I keep forgetting to say that. Anyway, Torga and Arcee are in a tunnel, and Arcee is giving Torga a spiel of variations that boil down to something like,
"They manifested out of nowhere, Orc. What if they are truly powerful? What if we could knock down walls with them? They might be of great use."
And this is very much a case where Arcee's inbuilt curiosity overwhelms his natural paranoia as he sees these gloves as a potential blessing on his quest, maybe initial reward of having come so far and now being able to almost reach out and grasp back this religious relic that he's come to bring back home. But now Torga is hogging the damn gloves and not willing to risk trying them out. I think we can insist that Torga will not try these out in this confined of a space, and she indicates as much, that she finds this too risky and would rather, having felt the power course through them, but also this already drain upon her essence once the magic effect was taking hold, she'd rather play it safe and not use them, and we'll let her get away with it for now, because we assume her self-preservation instincts are strong enough to not just be swayed by Arcee's constant badgering. Or piggering, I guess. Anyway, so instead of doing anything egregiously suicidal, the two of them continue on through this descent into the further underground, and we in turn determine one more time what is the next type of room. We use our 2die8 again with our campaign notebook by Perplexing Ruins and find out what we get. That is an 8 and a 7. That looks like a rather special one. So that is a... Oh, we've got like a secluded area here off to the side with a pit in front of it. And also, I would interpret this as like a spiral staircase. Let's just enter there, or... Yeah, I think this is where they've reached an area that is not sewage system, not old cellars anymore. This is... maybe more of a catacomb complex. So they're descending from the spiral staircase, and they have the pit here to the side with another circular room. And then we have our 2 passages. This is hopefully, I would say, a special room. We'll leave the... Well, we can just decide it's a special room, but we want to see if there's anything here and leave that up to our dungeon die. That's a 7, so there is a hostile encounter here, and with the pit and the sealed off area, that I feel is prime ground for this kind of thing. So let's maybe determine what kind of a special room it is, because this fits a number of concepts. 1, it's a shrine. Okay, so I'm guessing then this is the shrine area. A shrine to whom or to what? We're not sure. Let's determine what kind of a hostile encounter it is. We have our table here. 7, that's an event. Okay, I think we have the event dungeon encounters. Yeah, so let's roll our 2 8-sided dice. The black one goes to the 4. 55. A family of humanoids is chained to the wall. Okay. Okay, what kind of a shrine is this now? This, let me get the table of various origins and ancestries out again, and we'll just determine the type of humanoid. 03, that's a bunch of humans. Okay, so family of humans is chained to the wall at a shrine. That sort of screams sacrifice to me. The question is, well, is that it? Doubtful. So it's, I would say, rather likely that they are being guarded in some way. I mean, there is the pit, they're chained, there is the shrine, so presumably there's not a lot of traffic here, but still, there has to be something nearby that might intervene if we try to free them or make any kind of noise here as we already descend. And let's figure it out. So, is whatever party has rounded up and chained this family of humans to the wall by the shrine nearby? A high 18, that is yes. Okay, so there is something that is rounding up humans, tying them to a shrine, and presumably preparing them for sacrifice. And I think that's also, as far as Arcee and Torga are concerned, their more immediate focus of attention. So where there are prisoners, there is generally an imprisoner, and as they descend and walk through the tunnel, eyeing to their left past that deadly pit in the ground, this shrine, this disturbing image of a religious icon surrounded by a handful of people manacled to the wall, they turn their attention on the 2 tunnel directions that might reveal to them before long who is doing the imprisoning. So I'm just trying to think, how can we determine the who? Looking through city-state encounters here. There's also like a villain table in the Ultimate Toolbox. Maybe that could work. I think maybe we'll approach this from the nature of the shrine at which there is now worship happening. So I have a bunch of variety of gods here. I think first we draw the distinction between human, elf, and non-human gods, elf and dwarf gods. We have, I would say we'll go for a die 6, so that gives us 1 and 2 is this human god table, 3 and 4 is the elf and dwarf gods, and the rest is just goblin and non-human gods on the 5 and 6. 5. Okay, so we can roll a die 6 and a die 20 again. So table 1, 1 to 3, and table 2, 3 and 4, 4 to 6, sorry. 3 and 6, the Fire King, the Goblin God of Fire. Okay. So there is a tribe of underground goblins deep in the recesses of these caverns, and they steal up through the sewers to steal the occasional sacrifice and throw them into their burn pit. That's what the pit is, as a sacrifice to their deity. So it's the Fire King Shrine. And there will be goblins about, perhaps even a hobgoblin or two. Let's maybe first determine the stealthiness of our approach, and maybe also the reaction of the people there as Torga and RC walk past. They're trying to be stealthy, so that's the first part. I think RC is stealthy enough not to make much of a difference, so we'll roll Torga's dexterity against the DC of 15. That just pushes us barely past, so we do actually manage to sneak. The question is, do the people understand that we are trying to be stealthy, or do they, in their fear, call out to us to free them? Since we succeeded in the stealth check, I don't want to make this too harsh, so I'm gonna give us the advantage that our natural sneakiness with which RC and Torga are moving visibly gives the people a clue that they shouldn't be making a racket here. So we'll ask the Oracle, will the imprisoned humans keep their silence? And we'll make this likely, so we roll with advantage. 14, yes, but the main reason that there aren't at least 2 goblins or hobgoblins standing watch by the pit here in a ceremonial sort of way is that there is currently a changing of the guards going on. So they are about to come round the corner, and that doesn't give us enough time to surprise them or them to surprise us. So as RC and Torga ready themselves to investigate the tunnels, there's already shadows falling into the visible area. They know something's about to come around the corner. They hear some sounds and ready themselves to strike. So what are we up against? Presumably this is a first strike sort of situation where these are just the guards, but there are more around. So I'm assuming that if we take more than a few rounds of combat, they get reinforced by another bunch of other creatures. So let's make the 2 approaching guards. Well, are we evenly matched? Yes or no? Yes, we are evenly matched. So let's make it 2 hobgoblins, I would say. Seems fairly evenly matched. And let's give ourselves 1 die 4 combat rounds. That's 3 before they get reinforced by another bunch of them. How many? 2 die 6, I would say. Yeah, okay. That could be bad. But let's see. So we have 3 rounds to reinforcements. We don't surprise them, so we just roll standard initiative as 2 hobgoblin guards round the corner. And on a 4 to 6, our player characters act first. We act first. I think RC is pretty good in combat as well. I'm just assuming, for the sake of making it easier for myself, that he's got the same combat relevant stats as Torga. and that he's maybe a bit better at fighting than his stature suggests because of the whole mind reading thing. Makes me think that he also only can really read minds and get the thoughts and know of the presence of a thinking being if he can see them, because otherwise he would have spotted the humans chained there and the goblins coming around. I think that's a bit too strong. So he can do that mind reading thing when he sees the target, and then it's not controllable or that conscious, it just intrudes upon him. We have Torga able to act now. The DC to hit the hobgoblin is 14. We use our strength bonus, and that's a whack. Okay, so we have a 1d10 of damage, and the hobgoblin has one hit die. So how does that play out? We do 7 damage against the health of 2. So that's the axe coming down before the hobgoblin has a chance to get his own one-handed axe up and biting into Torga. He's already cleaved almost in half by that two-handed downswing of the orc, putting all her rage in there. As the timer is now running, as the first sound of battle make it very, very obvious that something's going on here, and the rest of the worshippers of the Fire King will soon arrive. We'll also assume that there is some kind of fire shaman in the mix, so we'll have to work with that somehow. But let's have Arcee lay into them with his claws first. Oh, he rolls a 20. Nice. Well, so that's an additional die of damage. What kind of a damage would... I'm guessing like that's a d6 probably. So let's give him 2d6 of damage due to the crit and roll the hit dice of the hobgoblin, the hit die rather. Okay, that is to shreds, you say? The hobgoblin gets savaged by our pork shaman, unleashing all the frustration of Torga just refusing patently to put on the damn gloves. And as those 2 first guards go down and the sound of combat ring out, we have still 2 rounds to ready ourselves. There'll be a voice from behind telling us that, watch out, there'll be more of them, giving Arcee and Torga the chance to get in position. So I think they will line up sort of on each side of the corridor, waiting for the guards to come running so they can actually ambush them. And we will see how many they get. That would be 2d6, I think. 6 more. Okay, so one of them is the shaman. 6 hobgoblins. 5 plus 1 shaman. The shaman, I think, would be stronger and will be able to cast some magic. The situation here would probably allow for, well, first off, our surprise attack, which maybe we can roll the goblin shaman's wisdom against the DC of Torga's dexterity defense. So let's see. I'm assuming the shaman has like 2 hit dice, so a +2 bonus. Nope. Okay, they don't spot the ambush. Like, there's not going to be room to fight all 6. I think as they are lined up on the side of the tunnel joining in, once combat is joined, Torga will be standing on the one side and Arcee on the other side, and they'll have to phase like 2 each, whereas the shaman is able to like range attack, and there's like 1... Well, let's see how many survive actually the first contact. So let's do our ambush. Let's roll an attack. That's a hit, so Torga scores another hit. And that is a 10 on the damage against the 6 plus 1 on the hit die, so that is a very clean decapitation as a hobgoblin rounds the corner and the axe just comes right at the proper height to make the body take a few steps forward as the head flies backwards, and a fountain of gore explodes over the companion. And at the same time, Arcee rakes the claws out, but gets tangled up in the armor and bounces back. Combat is now joined. We have Torga and RC each fighting 2 with the shaman now as the one bringing up the rear, able to sling some spells in their direction. Let's see who goes first. Our intrepid heroes go first again. Okay, this is rather fortuitous for being somewhat outnumbered, at least, even though they are kind of weak. I say this, there could have been like 12 of them. So let's see. Torga scores another hit. Okay, so let's do the hit die and damage die dance again. That is a chunkier hobgoblin, so that one has 9 hit points and now is down to 6 after the axe strikes armor. RC, meanwhile, also gets his chance. After an impressive beginning with a critical hit, he doesn't really fully get back in the groove and misses. We have an attack bonus of 1 against the armor defense of 13, so that is 2 attacks on Torga. One of which hits, that is 1 die 8 on the damage. Let's... we might die here. Ooh, 3 damage. Okay, so that brings us down to 4 hit points. Then 2 attacks on RC. 1 also hits. That is how much damage? 5 out of 8. So that is RC also well and truly hurt. And now we still have the shaman to go for. Does the shaman now cast a spell? Yes or no? 12. Yes, but it's a healing spell and makes the other guy go up back to the full 9. So Torga now has the chunky one, maybe the boss hobgoblin to contend with. That's it for that round. Who has the initiative now? Again, RC and Torga, so Torga gets another shot and another hit. We assume it's the same target being attacked. Rolls a 9 and strikes him down. Okay, so Torga 1 down. RC also a hit. How we doing on the damage versus the hit die? Also a kill. Okay, so that is now 3 dead hobgoblins. We have 1 enemy each plus the shaman. Let's have Torga face her attack. And that is a fumble on part of the hobgoblin. Does the hobgoblin have a good enough weapon to even have more than quality 1? So does his weapon break now? I think it's not very likely that the weapon is gonna break right away. So I'm gonna ask, does the weapon break but with disadvantage? No, it doesn't break. Okay, so it just loses 1 quality. So if that happens again to the same hobgoblin, then the axe is toast. What about the attack on RC? That's a hit. Uh-oh, that was nice knowing ya, buddy. Okay, he goes down to 0. So the axe clocks him on the side of the head, and with a tortured grunt, he sinks to his knees. Now the shaman, does he cast a spell? Yes, so we assume that we get some kind of a... Well, let's get the relative idea of what kind of spell he casts here from the 100 level spells table. 94. Upwell, a spring of seawater appears. Okay, so I will interpret this as a column of fire shoots up from the ground below Torga, who will now have to make a saving throw, dexterity I would say, to not be hit by this. We're assuming the hobgoblin shaman has a kind of a defense rating for their wisdom of 2 hit dice, so let's go for making this a 12 as a target number with Torga's dexterity. Is basically a coin flip. Does she manage to dodge it? Yes, okay. Are we generous and say this means she takes no damage, or are we sticklers and say that means she takes half damage? I think half damage, but on a die 6. Okay, that is 1 damage. Down to 3 hit points. Torga strikes again. That is another hit. Okay, so we have 1 more opponent there, and we Roll another 10, so that's another one down, meaning there is now the one that's standing over RC, feeling threatened and not finishing off the pigman and the shaman. The not shaman attacks Torga, misses, and the shaman... Does he cast another spell? No. Okay, so the shaman attacks with his staff. And given that the shaman is a level 2, that's a hit. I said staff, that is a die 6 according to the knave rules, so... Another one, okay, we're down to 2 hit points and 2 enemies. Ah, damn it, I think I didn't... did I roll initiative? I might not have rolled initiative. I'll do it now. Torga goes first. Getting swept up a little bit here. That's another hit. So the remaining hobgoblin in the way of Torga and the shaman goes down. Let's do a morale check for this shaman. I feel like that might be a live to fight another day kind of person. So 2 die 6 against a 6. Stays and fights. Okay. Does he have any spells left? No. That's another attack with the staff. That's a miss. Who goes first? Shaman goes first. Any spells? No. Okay, another attack with the staff. And that's a miss. Torga, this is your chance to save yourself and your pig friend. Ooh, that is... well, we add the strength bonus. And... No, that's a miss. Who goes first? Torga. Okay, another chance. That's a hit. Okay, now, shaman hit points versus Torga damage. Ooh, okay, the shaman has 2 die 8 plus 2 though, because 1 plus 1 each level, so that is a 10. Torga rolls a 9. Shaman has 1 hit point left. Torga has 2 hit points left. Shaman attacks again. Does he cast a spell? He does not. Okay. He attacks with the staff again. Scores a hit. Rolls another one. Okay. Down to 1 hit point and back to initiative, I think. Torga goes first. Torga hits. Torga does 1 damage, and that's just enough to knock this fire shaman down. He's not actually dead, I think. He's at 0 hit points and bleeding out. So we've now rescued a bunch of people who we still have to determine. We also have RC there about to breathe his last. Torga isn't looking in great shape. I'm gonna be generous and say it's an intelligence check whether she knows how to heal him properly and bring him back from the brink. Okay, that's not a success, which would tell me that then probably she only stabilizes him and he's at 1 hit point. I don't think it's like an automatic death or something. So RC is at 1 hit point. Torga is also at 1 hit point. And now we have some imprisoned people there. Now that the hobgoblins have settled into the dust. We killed 8. 1 shaman, I would say, counts double. That's 135 XP. How do we scale this with the guidelines here? Moderate risk to high risk, 135. That sounds about accurate. So let's just give ourselves 135 XP and then also give ourselves 100 for last time. So that puts us at 535. So we're about halfway to level 2. And we're in dire need of rest, because we're gonna die otherwise. And we also still need to free those people and determine who they are. I think maybe we're just following the matrix of rarity of encounters again that I've come up with to weight the city-state encounters. So 1 to 10 is a common person. Yeah, pretty much. So they captured some random common person. So what kind of a family unit is this, social strata-wise? 94, untouchable. Okay, so they've just rounded up a family of squatters that were also living down here in these tunnels in another area. So they're effectively destitute, and presumably we have a pair of parental units and 1 die 4. 1 child, that is a grand total of 3 who are now clamoring out to be let go. We still have a fire pit and a nasty god's idol to contend with, which probably is more in RC's bailiwick, at least the idol is. So after rifling through the hobgoblin corpses, we find a key, I guess that's likely. Yes, we find a key to the manacles, and we have the time to prepare. We probably can manage that leap as Torga is rather physically capable. I do this with advantage. She crosses over there and unlocks the manacles, and then maybe on the other side there, presumably there is a way that they got the people there over. Is there some kind of a rope or rope ladder or something, or is that somewhere else? Well, since I kind of didn't consider that part on a practical level, I'm just gonna hand wave it and say the shaman did it. So when Torga asks the imprisoned people, particularly with a view on the gap there and the child and the physical state of them not really being able to make that jump properly,
how did they get you over here, human?
And the outcast just gestures in the direction of the corpse of the shaman and points and says like, that one was singing some words and then the ground came up. And RC on the other side, meanwhile, having picked himself up, is sort of looking around and tries to find some planks or something lying around that maybe in the extended area here that might serve as a makeshift bridge. Let's see if he succeeds. As likely as not. 19, yes. Okay, so RC comes back carrying some sturdy planks that he's found and throws them over, and they can kind of balance over, and then the prisoners are set, well, free for the moment. At least they are no longer chained there. They're on the other side. Now what? Do they just go their separate ways? Do the people there know of a place where they camp out, where now that the hobgoblin threat is dealt with, they can rest up a little bit? That I find that rather likely. So is it possible for the now rescued former intended sacrifice victims to show Torga and RC somewhere where they can tend to their wounds and rest? 15. That is a clear yes. Okay, yes. So that is, I think, what is happening next. They are withdrawing. They are wandering to the outcast camp and resting up, and we will rejoin them next time. So thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you then, and bye for now.